Why?
I want to win.
Already?
No, 12 hours. It was 12 hours.
Okay.
It's 12 hours.
Ah, that's good. So. Do we even want to talk about it?
Okay, so I've got two viewpoints on it.
No, okay, look, right, straight away. I want to say it's not as bad as it sounds on the face of it.
Okay, go on.
Because I was looking back at qualifying. Well, I haven't been able to watch either of them, but I was looking at the results and sort of had a look at the Q3 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like Hamilton set his time right at the start, and so all the people that were on track at that time, he was 1.2 seconds faster than his teammate.
Yeah.
And then he was something stupid like 1.7 or 2 seconds faster than anyone else. And Vettel only just got within his time, or like just edged towards his time.
Yeah.
So in other words, had Hamilton done a good lap at the end, he probably would have still been, I reckon, faster.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe like a second, maybe 7 tenths, something like that. So like, I think actually Mercedes is still fast.
Yeah, definitely.
And the same goes for in the race, when it's like, they're probably not going to talk about this, but the fact that he was closing the gap to Vettel, even though he's on less good tyres, and potentially, like you were saying in the text, you used to text me earlier.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, potentially a problem as well.
Yeah.
And the car apparently wasn't working on tyres great in this heat. So like, even with all those factors, he was still catching.
Yeah.
And I think that you can
That's a good
almost put
point.
down the loss to tactics, really. I think.
I think that played a key part.
And just unlucky, So mistakes on Mercedes, the team part. I think the car's still good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. I think that's the side that's not going to be seen so much. It's going to be like, oh my god, Ferrari,
Yeah.
fast and whatever, and that's it. End of. I don't think that's the case.
It reminds me a lot of a couple of years ago. I think it was 2012 when Pastor Maldonado won a race, and they were like, "Oh, he's gonna win more races," and then
And
he
he's
win.
nothing. He's crashed ever since.
Thank God.
Didn't finish the race this time, did he?
Thank God. Hopefully, he'll set a record for never finishing in a
The
season.
most non-finishers in F1. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd love that so much.
It would fit.
What a twat.
Because he crashes every time.
What a twat. I hate that guy.
I want the other thing I'm really actually happy about is that Raikkonen got 4th despite getting a massive puncture.
I wish he had been the one who'd won the race for Ferrari. I
think all
that.
he needs to do is get like a non-problematic race, and he'll probably be up there, probably beating Bell.
He almost needs to be more motivated. He never seems to give too much of a shit. He's like, yeah, I got what I got, never mind. The race is tomorrow. Or the next race. Or whatever.
I think he's just a bit... He's like a pothead, isn't he? He's just a bit like, I don't really care.
He treats it like a hobby. He's just like, oh, it's
It's
fun.
I'm
Sunday
enjoying.
afternoon.
Yeah.
I get to go all over the world, do what I want.
Probably he gets paid a fuckload.
Yeah.
He's probably just like, I don't care about doing well or not. He's a world champion. It's good enough for him.
Yeah. So...
Oh, but I was upset because I managed to listen to the first hour. So I knew that Hamilton had pitted during the safety car and that Vettel had got ahead. And I definitely saw it as a possibility that was going to be a major, because I think when I stopped listening it was just about the time when Vettel was coming in for a pit. And, I was like working out and I was like, well, he's only going to be, 13 seconds or thereabouts down the road.
with new tyres, faster
with
tyres.
better tyres. Yeah, I was like, and he's might only do a 2-stop versus Hamilton's 3-stop, and I was like, it's not actually looking that good.
It's not going to balance out
At that point. So, yeah. So it's kind of just... I would rather they just did the exact same thing that Ferrari had done, and then they would have... I reckon they would have won. So stayed out during the safety car, and probably just pushed closer to a 3-stop.
The key issues were what you've already said, the strategy and the tyres today. I think
so sort out the tyres.
Well, yeah, I think it's something to do with the heat, where it was cooler yesterday because of the rain and the later time in the day when they did qualifying, where it worked better for them, basically. And it's as simple as that. I think maybe the hot temperatures don't, or the car and hot temperatures don't sort of suit the tyres this year for Mercedes, and they tend to maybe use them up a bit quicker. That might be a trend that we see throughout the year.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it doesn't make too much of a difference because they'll win enough races and get enough points that won't play a massive part.
No, I think. I mean, Hamilton's still in the lead of the championship.
Oh, yeah.
Mercedes is still in the lead of the constructors.
I'll sum it up like that.
It's not that bad. It's so early on in the season as well. I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm not really worried. Like I said, I think it's more a case of Ferrari capitalised on...
Did they aim for 2 podiums?
Sorry?
You know, before I was like, oh, why are they aiming for 2 whatever? Was it 2 podiums or 2 wins? It was 2 podiums, wasn't it?
No, I think it said 2 wins.
2 wins, okay, well this is the first of their 2 wins then.
Yeah. I don't think that
After that they give up, right?
Yeah, they just...
That's all they aim for.
Next year's car, right? So the other thing was the strategy. And I think they weren't sure what to do because they were surprised perhaps by the way their car was not responding to the tyres because of the heat. And so they kind of made a pit stop.
Was it a bit of a panic, was it?
Yeah, like when it was like safety car, they're like, oh shit, let's just pit stop now, let's get
Normally that's a good thing to do though as well. That's the other side
it's
of
quite
it.
a safe bet, but then when you've got someone bearing down on them, they're like, you kind of want to respond to them rather than everyone else and just focus on that. And
I feel like in recent years, like the last couple of years, pitting during the safety car has not helped anyone.
Well, because it's such a short time span and the time.
Because there used to be that. I think there used to be the rule like all the positions had to be like exactly the same, whether you pit or not. So that meant that you literally got a free pit stop.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like, it reduces the time the pit stop takes to your rivals.
Yeah.
Because you're not losing 23 seconds, you're losing like...
They said like 13 or whatever.
Yeah, you're losing, less.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's still advantageous, it's just... But then you end up in traffic.
It depends on the situation. You have to take it situation by situation.
If everyone's pitting, then whatever, it doesn't matter. You just...
And the other thing as well is there was that talk about possible rain later in the race.
Yeah.
Obviously never turned up.
That would have been good.
It would have been interesting. Yeah, I watching the race. I watched it live, and I have to say, for a while at the beginning, it felt like the Mercedes were holding back. And like I thought initially that Hamilton was kind of backing Vettel up into Rosberg so that he would then overtake and 1-2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they'd battle out later on in the race. Because honestly, the Mercedes actually looked quite slow today. You know, in races where you're like, oh fuck, they look really quick, they actually look like they're on it.
Yeah.
Like today,
they just look like that today.
Yeah, they looked, I don't know, more tentative going into corners.
And Hamilton
not as fast around the high speed like chicanes.
Yeah.
And it's just it wasn't right. It didn't look right.
Yeah. You reckon there might have been a problem then?
Well, there was a radio message from Hamilton when they were taking the cars to the grid asking about a problem.
Yeah, and they were late out, right?
They were late out.
Both of them.
And the response to Hamilton's message was, yeah, we've acknowledged like the problem. It's the same on the other car. So I'm like, well, so
maybe they were out. Maybe they were like without something.
Or or they may have turned the engine down to save something. Or it may just be that the tyres just didn't work for them, and it was a bigger sort of aspect than we give credit for, maybe. I don't know. Like Ferrari,
I wonder
they've
as
got a decent
well,
car, but
another element of the tyres thing was if Hamilton had gone on to the option, so the better tyre at the end. Like if he'd had that tyre available, because they said that it was really worn, so it was kind of out the window. If he'd had it, I wonder how much more he would have gained on Vettel.
yeah.
Because you're talking like if people were saying that Mercedes thought that their car was better on the other tyre and stuff like that, so maybe it wouldn't have been that great. But if the normal sort of second a lap that they were talking about difference, then you'd be like, well, maybe he would have been in contention for the win then.
I was
So you don't know.
I was wondering what the result may have been if the race was held at its usual time, because they put it earlier in the day so that it would avoid sort of these massive
Would there have
storms.
been rain?
Well, no, it would have been cooler, so I wonder if that would have had the same kind of effect with, like it did in qualifying, where the Mercedes were like light years ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't have done, I don't know, but I think that's maybe an interesting thing to bring up. I mean, ultimately, looking ahead, Mercedes still have the best overall package. What's the next race? Is it China or Bahrain? One of those, isn't it?
Last year, Bahrain was the 4th race, wasn't it? They might have changed the order though. It's normally China, Bahrain, isn't it?
One of those two, I think. I'm pretty sure it's one of those two. So it'd be cooler in China.
Yeah, it'd be cooler in Bahrain because they hold it at night.
It's very true, actually. Yeah. Also,
I think they're holding it at night.
it's a different kind of heat as well. Anyway, it's dry heat as opposed to the humidity,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure if that makes a huge difference, but possibly.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be on it next time anyway. Well, like, if there is a legit concern about the tyres or whatever, they'll be working to sort that out now.
Well, the other thing I was going to say, the last thing perhaps, is that on Mercedes at least, this might have been advantageous to them to kind of get this wake-up call.
Yeah.
Where they may have inadvertently been complacent, where they were like, oh yeah, we're okay, we're sort of ahead, we don't need to like.
Well, that could have been the thing where there's that problem, and maybe they're like, oh well.
Yeah, they're like, oh, despite the fact we've got a problem, we'll still be okay. We'll still get like a 1-2 or whatever.
If there was a problem, they still got a 2-3 though.
Yeah, they still got the best of the rest. They're going to sort of go back and think a lot, and judging by the work ethic, this will be sorted pretty soon.
I think next time they come, they'll be more than dominant. I think.
Yeah, and
I think.
Okay, maybe the last thing I'll say is that despite the fact I kind of wasn't happy with the result, I can't complain about more sort of competition.
No, it's good.
Like,
I just want it to be Raikkonen, not Vettel, though. That's my problem.
I kind of want like other teams. I want like Williams to be there. I want Honda to be there, and I want.
Can we just talk about the other teams though, as like the last thing we talk about? Because I'm like the other teams are embarrassing themselves, including Williams. I think
Sauber's doing pretty well actually. I'd say they're the only team that
okay,
isn't.
Sauber's all right, but they're still part of the rest of them.
Oh no, they're shit, but they're just far less shit.
Yeah,
than normal. That's the only difference.
Well, I was looking at it. It was like Williams were like a minute and something down.
What happened to them?
And they were the best of the rest, weren't they?
Last year,
best of the rest of the rest.
They were pretty good. Well, no, last year they were.
Yeah, and then you got Red Bull that were 10th and 11th or something.
How many championships have they won recently? They won like 4 or
like,
8 overall, like in the last.
I know
few
they're
years.
talking about Renault being crap or whatever, but I'm just like, that is embarrassing.
Shit.
And then you got McLaren, both of them going out. And then okay, like Sauber's made a good step forward, but they're still part of the rest of the like minute/a lap down people.
I'd throw in. I'd throw in.
Ferrari's the only team that's done any good work.
All those other teams can stay together. I'd say yeah. Ferrari and Mercedes seem to be kind of out of that pack. I wouldn't put McLaren and Honda in there because I think I said to you that they
let them off.
Well, they should treat their first like 6 to 8 races as like just testing. Just test whatever.
No, true. I'm inclined to not really worry about what's going on there.
Yeah, they're kind of their own thing at the moment. They're just discovering the car and whatever. Like, that's fine.
No, they'll get the engine sorted and then.
The fact they were fighting today, like with other cars, is definitely a step forward.
Well, yeah, the start.
They're in the points as well. They're in the points today.
Alonso had got an up. Like when I'd left it, he was in 9th or something.
Both of them, when they were still both in the race, for like 9th and 10th or something, which is that's
considering
second race, considering last
Last time Button was like
Shit.
5 laps down or some stupid amount.
And like the other guy didn't even make it to the grid.
Yeah.
And despite the fact they both failed to finish today, again, it's a step forward nonetheless that they retired from points positions.
Yeah,
which is definitely. And this is the second race in.
Yeah, what will happen when they actually develop the engine with all their tokens?
And and the package as well, like the car, the chassis. I'm thinking maybe the last 5 races they'll be fighting
more a normal team.
Yeah,
if not, yeah.
They'll be kind of where they expect it to be.
Yeah.
And then
next year,
going to next year, they'll be somewhat respectable.
Because Fernando Alonso must look at Ferrari and just be like,
for fuck's sake.
Why?
I want to win.
Yeah, alright. Let's leave it there. See you next time. Hopefully a bit better.